What's up, guys? D-Rock1992 here. For this next video, I'm going to be talking about some of the popular movies that came out in February. Like I said before, February is one of those months, like January, that a lot of bad films go to die at. You often don't really hear a lot about good films in January and February. American Sniper, however, it did in January. Even though it was a 2014 movie, it made money in January as well. It dominated January. So, but without further ado, I'm going to get right into February. So the first movie I'm going to talk about, Jupiter Ascending. A sci-fi movie. And it was directed by the Wachowskis, who most famously directed all the Matrix movies. The first Matrix being really popular, and I've heard the last two were not very good. So this one had Channing Tatum, Mila Kunis, Sean Bean, and Eddie Redmayne, an Academy Award nominee, just last year, or just this year. So it came out February 6th, and it was another failure. $176 million budget, so a big budget. It only made $181.4 million. It did not make money. I mean, it just did not do very well at all. And critically, 25% on Rotten Tomatoes, so another more bad reviews for a movie. And Jupiter sending up the brunt of the blame. Let's see. And then where the demographic is mostly women. That's definitely, I mean, the movie where a lot of women went to go see it, and they dragged their husbands along to go see it. 50 Shades of Grey. It came out February 13th. Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson were the lead actors in the movie. And so far, 50 Shades of Grey is the highest grossing movie of 2015. $566.1 million at the box office on a budget of $40 million. Unbelievable. And because of that, they are coming out with a couple other 50 Shades films. Critically, however, the movie suffered. 25% on Rotten Tomatoes. A lot of people said that the acting was wooden, that it just wasn't a very good story and stuff like that. That's what I heard. But my mom actually went to go see it, and she loved it. She really liked it a lot. But this was a movie going in that I was like not interested in going to see because it's not my type of movie. So 25% on Rotten Tomatoes. It did poorly critically, but great box office wise. It made money. Next film. Hot Tub Time Machine 2. The sequel to Hot Tub Time Machine that came out, I think it was 2010, I want to say it came out. So this one was pretty anticipated. It stars Rob Corddry, Craig Robinson, Adam Scott, Chevy Chase, back from the first one. The only one who doesn't return in a starring role is John Cusack, but he makes a cameo at the very end, I believe. Or he has a cameo in an unrated version of Hot Tub Time Machine 2. Needless to say, like many comedy sequels, this one was a disappointment. $14 million budget, $12.3 million box office total. It wasn't very good. And critically, it got only 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. So like every other comedy sequel that comes out, there are rarely comedy sequels that outshine the original. And this one didn't. So we're not going to see Hot Tub Time Machine 3. Not with the numbers we saw for 2. Definitely not. That's my opinion, at least. I don't think fans would be interested in it. McFarland USA came out January 20th. The only reason I mention this one is Kevin Costner's in it. A lead role for Kevin Costner. Maria Bello, another person I've heard of. McFarland USA made $41.7 million on a $17 million budget, so it did fairly well. Those are pretty solid numbers. Reception, 79% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was a good, well-received film. So, and this was a movie about sports. It was another sports movie from Kevin Costner, who is known for sports movies. Just look up Field of Dreams, Bull Durham, For Love of the Game, sports movies like that he's been in. Next movie to discuss. Focus. Focus is one that it was the next Will Smith movie. Will Smith and Margot Robbie in this movie. A heist movie. And I was looking forward to this one. I wanted to see it. Didn't get to see it. It was hit or miss, from what I heard. $50.1 million budget, $143.9 million at the box office. So, it definitely did relatively okay. It did good. For a Will Smith movie, for a Will Smith movie, it was disappointing, but because he's Mr. Box Office, but it did okay. Critically, it got a 55% rating, so it was very mixed. So, mixed critically, okay box office wise. And then a horror movie, The Lazarus Effect, came out also on February 27th. This is the last one I'm going to be talking about. I mean, I'm not going to talk about the Duff, because I doubt people saw that, and the second best exotic, Marigold Hotel. I don't think people saw that either, so I'm not going to talk about those two. The Lazarus Effect, the last one I'm going to talk about for February. Olivia Wilde is the main star of this film. An interesting film for her, since she is a pretty big star these days. On a $5 million budget, it made $26.4 million. For that budget, it did well at the box office. The reception, though, 14% on Rotten Tomatoes. So it did not do well. So that is it for February. Pretty much another lost month. Focus did okay, McFarland USA did good. But largely, all the movies in this month were bad. Were bad duds of movies. So that is it for the February edition of this for the February movies. D-Rock 1992 out.